A return to winning ways, and temporarily at least we were in the top half of the table. It was a fantastic night on Tuesday night, but we must go again, and this time in front of the Sky cameras. It is Charlton against Portsmouth this evening, a fixture that of course has huge significance for us historically. As well as playing host to them for our first match back at the Valley in December '92, we've also faced Pompey competitively more times than we have any other club. Fast forwarding to 2022 for what is our 113th meeting with them, and a win tonight would take us just 3 points behind Danny Cowley's side, who currently sit fourth in the League One table. Despite being live on Sky Sports tonight, we are live streaming the game everywhere outside of the UK and Ireland, and as always, we've got lots coming up before kick-off. We'll hear exclusively from manager Ben Garner, who spoke to Charlton TV on Saturday. We'll also speak to Keith Peacock, who's part of the 30-year celebration committee, about the upcoming event here in SE7. And we'll hear from forward Chuck Zanike, who took exactly 105 seconds to announce his return to action on Tuesday night by scoring against Exeter. More of the same tonight, please, Chucks. Well, delighted to say, alongside Curbs and myself, we have Linvoy Primus, who came through the youth ranks at Charlton before going on to make over 200 appearances for Portsmouth. Welcome to Charlton TV, Linvoy. How are you?
I'm well, Scott, thank you. I'm good.
You've not changed at all from back in the day as well.
Well, outside might not, inside definitely has, believe me.
Look, we know you still live in the South Coast, so we're not going to ask you who you want to win tonight.
Okay.
But how much are you looking forward to?
Over there.
Oh, no,
What did he say? Go on, what did he say?
He thinks Portsmouth.
Well, he didn't say he wants to win there. He just said he
I
thinks
think,
Portsmouth
yeah,
might win.
that's it. Good.
Very
Well
good.
done. Thank you.
How much are you looking forward to tonight, though?
I'm really looking forward to it. Originally it was going to be a Saturday, obviously, but that's changed. But a night game is going to always be special. And I don't remember playing a night game in a professional game here, or if I did, it was one to not remember. But it'll be good. Hopefully, with the Pompey fans here, it'll be a good atmosphere. But I'm expecting, it'd just be nice. It'll just be like the pitch is good, the players look, I think they look ready. But I just think it's going to be a good evening. It's going to be a good night.
Curbs, have to say, we're on about the years, but it's great to see Linvoy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We was just reminiscent about when I used to drive him home. Because he comes from Canning Town, so well, no, a bit posher, wasn't it? It was Stratford, wasn't it?
Oh, Stratford,
yeah. Stratford. And so his dad used to pick him up. I used to drop him off on the motorway. Then his dad used to come along and pick him up. I used to get him through the tunnel.
Yeah.
But no, it was just an unfortunate position. I think the club was changing, as well as I do. All the young players coming through will get a chance if they could, and he unfortunately didn't get the chance. But he went off to Barnet and then Reading and then made his name at Portsmouth.
He certainly did, more than that. In fact, it is Linvoy Primus MB, isn't he? Do we need to bow in front of you at all? Or?
Well, only special occasions, and now he's one, so...
But how proud of you are you of that as well? And did you actually meet the Queen?
I didn't, no. I met Prince William, and a really funny story. It was his first...
football fan?
He is. Well, that was his first official engagement after the birth of the first baby, George, I think. Yep. And because we were in quite a big room with 90 people, lots of people were saying, I wonder who it's going to be. I heard it's William. And someone said, I heard he's an Aston Villa fan. So I thought, oh, that sounds all right. So by the time I got there, I was in the last group. And I thought, well, I'm going to ask him something and I'll say to him about Villa playing Arsenal in the cup final. So I said, he shook my hand and said, congratulations. And then I, done the thing, stepped back and I said, oh, are you looking forward to the cup final? And my wife, in behind me, said she knew that I said something else because he relaxed, and he was saying, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I know I'm going to give Arsenal that trophy." So, yeah, so it was a lovely occasion. Proud, I am, but I recognise that I wasn't doing it for any accolades.
No, of course not. And just remind for those who don't know what it was for.
So worked towards football and charities as well. So done a lot of charity, started a charity and helped charities in Portsmouth. So you just do it to help, and that comes along. I think for my parents it's a great thing because they're the first generation in my family from the West Indies. So the Queen and the royal heritage is something big for them. So for them to come and witness that of me was special. So yeah, so it was lovely for them.
Brilliant, well deserved, mate.
Thank you.
And what are you up to nowadays?
So I do a lot of support work with players now. So that involves just meeting them, Some of them are Christians, so I support them with their, as they work through the Bible, and just on their way of conducting themselves through their careers, because we know it's not easy, but to try and live it in a way that that allows them to be the best they can be in that situation. I just try and help them in that role. So yeah, that's a bit of what I do.
Brilliant, keep them busy as ever. Well, listen, good to see you.
Thank you.
I won't ask you again who you want to win.
Who was want to win?
Yeah, it was
who do I think is going to win? That's it.
We've turned that around well.
Yes.
Okay, listen, less than 45 minutes to kick off. Let's crack on, shall we? Lots to get through. Let's hear from the gaffer, Ben Garner, who spoke to Charlton TV at the weekend.
I think winning games is the ultimate confidence boost. In general, team spirit and sort of the atmosphere around training ground has been pretty good, especially as we haven't won as many games as we would like. So, but naturally, to win the game, it gives a lift, and you can see that in the players. You can see the confidence that gives, and hopefully we can build some momentum on the back of that now.
You've operated in a 4-4-2 formation in recent games. How pleased have you been with that, and what have you seen about that formation that gives you a boost going forward?
Yeah, I mean, we played it a slightly different way on Tuesday. We weren't really a 4-4-2 with the ball. We rolled into a different shape, and we thought there was key areas we could try and expose within Exeter's shape, and did that well, and did that really well. But it's like I said, over the last few weeks, I've been searching, if you like, for a formation or a way of playing that allows us to play the way that we want, but also suits the personnel that we've got available. And that's an ongoing process, and that's something that we're gonna have to do. Certainly through till January, I think. It's about me understanding the strengths of the players that are here and trying to get the best out of the group. But it's worked well for us in the games where we have done it, and yeah, hopefully we can, as I say, get some good form and momentum now.
And it's Portsmouth up next. How much of a challenge will Danny Cowley's team pose for you?
Yeah, a huge one. They've had a really strong start to the season. I think they've recruited really well in the summer. I do, because sort of looking at them halfway through pre-season, and they hadn't recruited that many, and then all of a sudden they had a big influx of players. They've done that really shrewdly. Obviously they lost Marcus Harness to Ipswich and have reinvested very well. Have used the loan market very well, and you can see they've built a really strong League One squad. So we know that that's going to be a test on Monday night, but our home form's been good. On the back of Tuesday night, we're looking forward to it. And as always, we'll be looking to attack and win the game playing at home.
And you've mentioned before about the positive impact the Charlton fans had on Tuesday. How vital will they be on Monday evening and going forward? Yeah, probably even more so. I think the fact it's a televised game. I'm sure Portsmouth are a very well supported club, very passionate fan base, will be bringing a good following. Hopefully we can do the same and have a big turnout and create a really good atmosphere. And I thought on Tuesday, like I said at the time, we haven't been on the run of results that we want, any of us want. And the probably easy thing, if you like, was to for it to be a little bit negative or a little bit flat, and that wasn't the case, and that really helped. It does. It gives the players a lift, and hopefully we can have that again on Monday night, and hopefully together we can get another 3 points.
Yeah, hopefully back-to-back wins would be fantastic and something we do need now. It's just the one change with Miles being out. Corey Blackett-Taylor comes in. Curbs, we look better with the two up front, don't we? I mean, how do you see it though? Because it's fair to say Corey's not an out-and-out striker. I actually think Charlie Kirk would be better and maybe dropping off just behind Jordan.
I think we'll have to wait and see, but I think Ben's got in his mind that Miles was the other forward that could go in behind back fours. And I'm sure Corey Blackett can use his pace. Whereas if Kirk goes in there, I don't think you're going to get the same. So I think he could. I think he could line up a little bit like that now, and just let Corey Blackett pick on the slowest centre half.
What's he looking at me there?
I don't know why.
He was over in the lounge and he was talking about this one and that one, and he just slung in on Reed. I thought, yeah, all right.
Pick that one up.
He said, I used to enjoy playing against this one and that one, and then he went on Reed. I bet you didn't.
But I think it's fair to say there's no Thierry on Reed.
He said he'd rather have the strong physical Stockley. He'd rather be up against Stockley than perhaps Corey Blackett, who's going to run in behind. So I think that could be the lineup.
Too early for Chucks, isn't it?
Yeah, I've always said this. My theory on injured players is that if they're not 100% fit, is it better for him to come on when players are a little bit tireder, last half hour, whatever, would that give the fans a lift and the team a lift more than him going off after an hour? I'd rather do it this way round, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Have you seen much? You haven't seen much of Charlton, have you?
No,
what do you think of like a 4-4-2 versus, say, a 4-3-3?
Well, it's funny because when Portsmouth played Ipswich, they went with 2 up, and which was a bit of a surprise. So, but what like I say, it didn't really affect Ipswich's game because they really were on the front foot that evening. But I think there's always, as a defender, seeing 2 strikers up there, you always know you've got, you're hitting someone and the ball's going in the channel. When you've only got 1, it's all over for me. So
This is Henri.
Yeah, this is Henri, yeah. But yeah, when you're defending against the 2, you sort of know your positions are strong. But I just think when you've got 2 forwards ahead of you, it's a night. There's 2 good targets to hit. So if they're going with this tonight, I think that will be a benefit. And like Herb said, if you're able to bring someone that can get you off your seat on, that could give the crowd a lift again.
And that definitely is Chuck's. Of that, there's no doubt. And we've talked about consistency of selection. Obviously, with Miles being out, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. Just that one change and enforced, which again shows it's a consistency of selection, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So all week, you know what the team is, really, and sort of the rest of the boys know what the team is. Probably that was the only decision. Was he going to start Chucks or not? So they've trained properly, had an extra couple of days. So, yeah. Okay.
And also, when's the next game? Is it Saturday, the next game? Because you've also got the thought process of, well, if he comes on for 60 and, plays the last 30 and does OK, you could be thinking, you know what, is he good enough to start the next one and then take him off? So there could be that thinking as well.
Yeah, let's get 3 points tonight and then we can worry about Saturday on Saturday. But you're absolutely right in terms of Chucks and managing him. OK, let's have a look at the table then, shall we? And we'll start with the bottom half because we dropped back into it following the weekend's results. Bottom 2, Burton and Morecambe contested a 1-1 draw on Saturday, keeping them there. Forest Green still in the relegation zone after throwing away a 2-goal lead at Port Vale at the weekend. There are only 2 wins for the bottom half sides at the weekend. Oxford recorded an impressive 4-2 win at Exeter, and Lincoln incredibly earned an away victory at Ipswich. And just before we move on to the top half, Accrington's Sean McConville, how would you be here, Curbs?
No.
He missed 2 penalties in 2 minutes at home to Derby before they went on to lose 3-0.
I saw it. I watched it. I watched a bit of it, yeah.
Would he be taking penalties next time if he was in your side?
Well, he must have been brave to take the second one, but they were bad penalties as well, weren't they? But no, he must have upset someone somewhere.
Yeah,
but,
I'd imagine there's no way Curbs is saying you're on the next game. Let's get into the top half now, shall we? And second place, Ipswich have slipped 4 points behind leaders Plymouth after that shock home defeat to Lincoln. That was their first home league defeat of the season. Leaders Plymouth won 4-1 at MK Don. Sheffield Wednesday remained third after earning a 2-0 win away at Cambridge. They're on 29 points. And then there's a big, 7-point gap down to Portsmouth in fourth, but they do have games in hand. Wycombe return to the top half after beating Peterborough. Posh stay in the playoff places themselves. And just below them, Bolton and Barnsley contested a goalless draw at the weekend, keeping them 7th and 6th respectively. Only goals scored separates those two. And Curbs, look, a 7-point gap between third and fourth. And then a 6-point gap between 4th and 18th. Now, Portsmouth do have games in hand, but is this a division with 3 or 4 very good sides and nothing between the rest?
I've been saying for some time, I think the top 6 or 7 has took shape, it looks like to me. I mean, I didn't realise Portsmouth had them games in hand, and I'm wondering why. I can understand one game being missing, but to have them games in hand.
I know what they were, international games.
Was they?
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
So it's nice having them in hand. But you've got to pick the points up, and that'd be quite congested when they play them. But I do look at that top 6 and 7 and think it's taking a bit of a shape.
Yeah.
Big names, big clubs, and 2 teams that got relegated, and trying to bounce back. So then the quicker we can get up there and be mixing it with them, the better, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, Linvoy, we just touched on Pompey having games in hand, but they do need to hang on to the coattails of the top 3 as they look like they're pulling away. So tonight's a big game for them, isn't it?
It is, and I'm sure, Dan will be really emphasising that, because it's nice sometimes when you don't play on a Saturday and you see the other results coming in and you're thinking, oh good, now we got, but when you see the results like, you know, Sheffield Wednesday, you're thinking, now we go catch them, so now we need to win. So hopefully it will open the team up to go for it. Okay, it's away from home, but still go for it. But the other thing, this league is still so many games, so many games, and I think those 5 or 6 at the top will just be, you know, rotating those positions eventually. But yeah, it's strong. The top 6, 7 are the strong teams there at the moment, and you know, Portsmouth, whatever happens, I think the minimum they can come away with tonight is a point.
Curbs, I have to say, Lincoln were very poor against us. We thought we should have got all 3 points or beaten a poor side, and yet they go and win away at Ipswich, one of the best sides in the division.
Yeah. Perhaps the nerves are getting to Ipswich already. But no, you know, every time I look at that table, especially that top half, the size of the clubs like in the 3rd division, if you like. Yeah. I mean, all but name. But yeah, it just shows you how tough this league is, and you know, not just we looked at that with Portsmouth having games in there. Derby got games in there as well. I mean, another proper club. Yeah. So yeah, it's a massive division at the moment.
OK, no other fixtures this evening, so let's move on to club news updates, shall we? And we'll start with ticketing news. We'd like again to remind fans that special pricing will be in place for our league game against Cheltenham here at the Valley Saturday, December the 3rd. The first weekend in December will of course be a very special one for the club as we celebrate 30 years since our return to the Valley. That first game back on December the 5th, 92 was of course against tonight's opponents, Portsmouth. Adult, over 65 and under 21 tickets will be priced at £19.92. Anywhere inside the Valley with all concessions priced at just £7. What's more, if you are a season ticket holder, then you'll be able to bring in a friend to the game for free. So to purchase your tickets or to redeem your free ticket for a friend, please visit booking.cafc.co.uk. Well, the club recently announced that match ticket prices for league games have been reduced for the remainder of this calendar year. Full details available to read on cafc.co.uk. And we'd like to remind fans that they can save an additional £10 on the price of 3 match tickets by investing in our Addicts 3-pack. The pack enables you to make one purchase and then select 3 home league fixtures that you would like to attend between now and Boxing Day. You don't have to select all 3 at the time of purchase. You can choose as and when you want to. And what's more, you will save £10 on the cost of 3 individual tickets. Don't know if you heard me there. Don't know if you heard me over the video. Our next men's home game is on Tuesday, October the 25th against MK Dons. To get your Addicts 3-pack, please head to booking.cafc.co.uk. We'd like to remind our international fans that annual and monthly Charlton TV subscriptions remain on sale. They are priced at £220 per annum or £35 per month. So if you're currently paying £10 for match passes every week, why not upgrade? A subscription enables you to watch every league game live overseas, even if, like tonight, we're on Sky Sports, as well as first-team league games. Don't forget, there's a host of other live content that you get with your subscription, including the streaming of under-21 and women's team home league fixtures, not to mention unlimited access to the unrivaled Charlton TV archive. You can get yours by heading to cafc.co.uk now. Well, the Charlton women's side continued their strong start to the Barclays Championship season by fighting back from 2 goals down to earn a point against Blackburn Rovers yesterday. Trailing 2-0 at the break, captain Emily Simpkins halved the deficit from the penalty spot on 48 minutes. Very coolly taken indeed, before Mel Johnson restored parity 20 minutes from time. Right place, right time. Karen Hills' side currently sit 3rd in the table, and they'll be back in action next Sunday when they take on Lewis at the Dripping Pan. Well, we were very pleased to announce our Charlton for Good scheme recently. The initiative gives fans the chance to help raise funds for grassroots teams, schools and charities with every purchase they make at the club. For full details on Charlton for Good, please head to cafc.co.uk. We are delighted to confirm that on Thursday, October the 27th, which is during the October half-term week, fans will have the chance to meet George Dobson and Miles Leeburn from the men's first team and Ella Rutherford and Emily Simpkins from the women's side in the club shop. A 2-hour signing session will be taking place, which will start at 2:30 p.m. here at the Valley, and the quartet will be on hand to pose for photos and sign autographs. If you are around, please make sure you pop down. And finally, are you looking to keep your youngster busy during October half-term? How about this?
Looking forward to welcoming young people ages 4 to 15 years of age to our football holiday courses this October half-term. The children will arrive at the venues in the morning. The coaches will split them into their specific age groups. They'll stay with that coach throughout the whole week. Throughout the week, the coaches will work on dribbling, passing, shooting, control, defending and attacking match play. We're going to be doing World Cup style tournaments in the afternoon. There's going to be a lot of challenges set throughout the week by our head coaches. We also have girls only football courses available to us as well. And we might be lucky enough for a Charlton men's or women's first team player to come along and do some Q&A with the children as well.
That was great fun, Curbs. What about the grandkids getting involved in that, no?
Not old enough, I don't
Not old enough, yeah. I might get my kids involved in that one. OK, right, in a few weeks' time, it will mark 30 years since our first match back at the Valley, following a 7-year exile from our spiritual home. The anniversary celebrations actually get started this Friday, as the Charlton Athletic Supporters Trust are hosting a special event here at the Valley. Charlotte Richardson spoke to club legend Keith Peacock a little earlier to find out more about the events.
Thank you, Scott. I am delighted to be joined pitchside by Mr. Charlton himself, Keith Peacock, and Richard Wiseman from the Charlton Supporters Athletic Trust Association as well. I'm delighted to have you both pitchside alongside us. Keith, first things first, you are part of the committee that is planning the 30th year celebrations of our return back here to the Valley. Can we rewind to that moment on the 5th of December 1992? What was that moment like?
Well, actually, just standing here, it's quite uncanny that this is where the porter cabins were, and very crushed together on that day. But it was a fantastic day. Forgetting about winning the game, we arrived, we were straight into what to do. All right, make sure the crowd were right behind us from the start, and we got off to a terrific start when Walsh scored that goal with his left foot. Bob Boulder will claim it. Of course, he rolled the ball out 50 yards back, but yes, it was terrific that day, and but it was very tight in that dressing room, I must admit, in there. And it was disappointing for a couple. You always think of, oh, you know, Walshy and Lee Byrne was there, and Bob in goal, Simon Webb's at centre half, but you sometimes forget there were two players. We had two subs in those days, and Kim Grant was one, Alan Pardew was the other, and he had played all 19 games coming up to this one, and he was rather disappointed that day, so I was spending time behind that area having a chat with him for some time.
And Richard, the return had a lot in part to do with the supporters. Can you tell us about the part that they played in our return to the Valley?
Yes, I mean, it was very much a joint effort between the directors of the club and the supporters, and the directors, of course, are supporters. The Valley Party and the election certainly had an effect on getting planning permission for this place. Supporters came and did an awful lot of work just painting the seats, getting them ready. And then, of course, there was the Valley Investment Plan, where and Valley Gold was launched back then, all of which was supporters putting their money in to get this place open and ready for football again. And
we've got an exciting event coming up this Friday. Tell supporters all about it.
Yep, we've got an event this Friday to celebrate what is an incredible achievement of us getting back here. We've got former directors Roger Alwyn and Martin Simons. We've got supporters activists, if you like, Rick Everett and Peter Cordwell, who was the sports editor of the Mercury, and we've got Bob Boulder and Simon Webster here on the day to talk us through that. So I hope it'll be an evening, really celebrating, remembering what happened, and celebrating and saluting all the people who put in so much effort to get us back here.
On that note, Keith, Friday's event is the start of what will be a number of celebrations marking the 30 years since returning to the Valley. How much are you looking forward to the event and being back with old friends?
Oh, yes, very much so. Obviously I've been in touch with a number of people, and hopefully we'll have a good day. This event that's turning up, we're doing on Friday, I think it's good for some of the young. We think of, all the old people come here, so I come into that category. But it's great to have younger people for the history of the club, and seeing the people who are actually hands-on making so much difference.
Richard, not only are we celebrating that landmark, we're also celebrating 10 years of the Supporters Association as well, so a big birthday to celebrate.
Yes, the Supporters Trust was founded 10 years ago, at the same time as 20 years back from the Valley. We're really thrilled that we're able to host this event. Doors open at 7. If you want a ticket, the ticket office, you can still buy them from the ticket office. If you're a member of the Supporters Trust, we'll get the tickets for you. You just have to email us at secretary@castrust.org. A splendid evening is guaranteed for all. And I must mention our kind sponsors, DNEL, who have put in some money to subsidise the PA system, and Heineken, who are also sponsoring the evening. So it should be a great time.
It should be a great time indeed. Keith, I'll leave the final words to you. What words of encouragement would you reserve for any supporters watching that they should come along on Friday night?
Well, I just think it's going to be a really lovely evening. There's already been a lot of tickets sold, and they will really enjoy it, because I'm looking forward myself, and I've been in the game all this time, and I'm looking forward to being there and taking part and seeing and going down memory lane, obviously, and it's just such an achievement that was made 30 years ago.
It's an achievement indeed, and one we won't be forgetting for a very long time to come. Thank you both for joining us on Charlton TV. Scott, back over to you in the studio.
Thanks, guys. Great stuff. Yeah, one of the biggest games I ever played in. There was only about, 8,000 curbs at the time?
Near on 8, yeah.
I still think it's one of the biggest.
This stand was condemned, wasn't it? It wasn't open this side.
Absolutely. Yeah. And look, tickets for Friday's event still on sale, and you can get yours online by going to booking.cafc.co.uk. So many stories to be told that have gone under the radar over the years. So if you're of the age, as Keith just mentioned there, where you remember the first game back in 1992, makes me feel so old just saying that. Make sure you are there on Friday night. What's more, 25% of ticket sales will be donated to the Charlton Athletic Community Trust, and we are also celebrating 30 years since the launch of the club's award-winning community programme this year. Should be fun. OK, Linvoy, talking about the early 90s brings us quite nicely to sort of memory lane.
Oh, hello.
Are you ready?
Am I ready?
You're not meant to be seeing that.
OK, all right. The weather's all right.
Where did you get that wig from? You got that?
Well, come on. That's still growing.
Let's put it up then. Let's put it up then. I mean, look, let's rewind the clock back to your Charlton journey, shall we? I mean, where did it all get started, and what are your memories of that young, dashing-looking Linvoy Primus?
Well, the first memory is that spot. I could see a spot right above my eye. I know. So where did it all start? I suppose it started with Colin Clark, and he was a youth team, manager? Was he just manager or a coach? Yeah. And he invited our team over from Canning Town to play, I think it was Charlton under-13s. And we got beat 6-0, but one of the strikers, I don't know if you remember him, Richmond Donker? Yeah, Richmond Donker, he was unreal in the first half. So the manager moved me on to Richmond, and I think stopping him caught Colin's eye, and from then he just said, come back.
It won the game for them, and he wasn't trying. So that's why
you know what, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I don't know, that's what it takes. But then after that, I had to go back and we were invited back to train twice a week for about 6 weeks, and off the back of that we got offered a year scholarship or schoolboy offer, Had that for 1 year, then got a second year, and then got offered an apprenticeship. But the funny thing was, West Ham offered me an apprenticeship. You don't know this, so cover your ears.
No, he's finding out so much. Honestly, like memory lane, he's finding out so much.
So at the last minute, they came round and said, you know, we'd like to take you on as an apprentice. And my thoughts were, you were one of the guys, Carlo, probably Brownie, Stevie Brown as well, were players that got into the team as youngsters. And I thought, well, if they've got a chance, maybe I've got a chance. And I knew West Ham were too big and had a lot of players, so I chose Charlton. And that was it. It wasn't, you know, for me, again, it wasn't like now you know you're going to get into football and, you know, there's trials and stuff. There's nothing like that. It was, if you go, make the most of it, because this could be your last chance. And that's what I've done, and didn't really look back then.
Well, we have got another photo, actually. Let's have a look at this one. No, it's a team one. No, it's a team one.
Okay.
So have a look at this.
Yeah.
Alan Curbishley with hair.
Yes. Oh, can't believe that. And colour.
And brown.
You can tell it's a pre-season.
Yeah. Look,
I'm alongside two centre-halves, so I look smaller than ever.
Yeah.
There's Brownie in the middle as well.
Look at Robbo.
Robbo, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Bumstead, Alex Dyer,
yeah.
Alan Pardew.
Stevie Gattin on the left.
Gattin.
Yeah. Pitch. Johnny Gorman. Do you remember Johnny Gorman? Busy.
Yeah.
That was it. Do you remember his nickname? Busy.
Yeah.
Tommy C, yeah.
So what are your memories of your time, first time round at Charlton?
It was hard. I knew that me being in this environment was hard, mentally, physically, and the challenge I had was that my parents, they backed Linvoy, but they didn't back the footballer, so they didn't know if I played well or how to help me. So I had a lot of time where, even if I thought I played well, we'd talk a lot on the way back in reserve games, and he'd advise me of things to do. But there was always this confidence in me that I wasn't quite good enough. And even when I made my debut, I still felt I wasn't quite good enough. But I made so many friends. You know, Keith Peacock is my friend forever. You know, we used to have challenges in the gym.
That was my next question, actually. Do you remember the big challenge? We haven't got any photos of it, don't worry.
Good. I remember the music. I remember having to come out with Mike Tyson shorts and boots on. You and Carlo cheering me up.
Yeah. So just for the record, it was John Vaughan, who was a keeper, who was a strong guy at the time. There was Linvoy, who was like that as well. And there was Keith.
Yes.
And Keith, I had a chat with him just the other day about this when we saw Gavin. And he said, I remember I always said I have to go last.
Yes.
So you did Johnny did like 65 dips.
Yeah.
You did like 72 dips.
Yeah.
And then Keith would be like that, 73, and then I'd just stop there.
Yeah.
He always won, didn't he?
Yeah, always.
Absolutely
always.
brilliant. But look, you left us in '94 and went over to play 100 times for both Barnet and Reading as well. And then in 2000 you joined Portsmouth.
Yeah.
What does that club mean to you? And you can say what you want.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, it means a lot. I think, you know, my time from leaving Charlton and joining Barnet, I went from a boy to a man. I grew up in those lower leagues. I had to. I was getting beat up every week, like by forwards. So you had to grow up quickly. By the time I got to Portsmouth, I knew that I had to make the most of this because it was my last opportunity. There was no thought of the Premier League or anything like that. It was about looking after my family now. And then within 2 years, we're on the verge of the Premier League, and that was special because I was told I could leave again, but I stayed in the team, and you know, we got promoted. But I think the big thing for me, why the club means so much for me, my family grew up in the city. We've made so many connections and friendships, but the biggest thing for me was it's so much like East London. There's such a community. People look out for each other, and if you do well for them, and I say them as the collective them, the island, they will look after you for the rest of your life. You know, and all it is effort, because they work hard. They expect it back. That's the bottom line. They expect that back, and I was able to do that. But the charity work, I was able to see people's faces and feel what they were feeling, and sometimes that feeling of how frustrated they could be in their own lives, I'd use that as a bit of fuel when I was on the pitch to say, look, this is for you, you know. So really special, happy times, you know, good, bad and ugly, as football gives you. But I just think for the legacy of what's been left is really special, and the fans never forget that. And all I ever say is that I'm little Linvoy from Stratford, East London, 17th floor of a block of flats. And to be able to be in a position like playing out on the pitch like that, but then being able to say, okay, then here you go, you know, you guys give it a go, give life a go, go on, and be able to help them that way has made it, it'll always be home for me now.
You were a Premier League footballer and nobody can ever take that away from you, but you did come back to Charlton, didn't you?
Yes.
That was, what, rejoining on loan in 2008?
Yeah.
Difficult spell at the time because there was, what, relegation to League One?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that, or was the fact that you know, that losing games and relegation superseded the fact you were coming back to your almost your first love?
That's right. When I first came back, I thought, I'm back. I've come back to save this club. Going to get them back to the Prem. After about 5 games, I thought, this ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I enjoyed the fact of being back, but I also realised that this is it. I knew I wasn't going to play football anywhere else after this, because I remember playing away. We was at Birmingham, and it was cold, it was wet, it was November time, December time, and the midfielder picked up the ball, and I knew he was going to play it over my head. And I thought, if I don't run now, I'm never going to get this. Anyway, I turned to run, and the forward had gone, and it's like I was running uphill into the wind, you know. And I made my mind up at that point. That's it. Once my loan finishes, I'm not going to play football no more, because my legs had gone, my heart wasn't in it. But
happens to all of us.
It does. Yeah. But you know what's nice? Playing, I don't know how many games I played, but I scored at this end, and I just thought to myself, wow, it's like it's complete. You know, just like it was complete. So, so it's good, even though we didn't stay up.
Yeah, well, listen, Linvoy, it's an absolute pleasure for you to be here as well.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to the game. I know it's one of those where you don't really care who wins or loses.
I'll be happy both
You win
ways.
with both, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you.
Thank you.
OK, right, striker Chuck Sanike made a goal-scoring return, didn't he, to action on Tuesday following injury. And he spoke to Charlton TV's James Waller over the weekend to discuss the instant impact he made.
Chuck, so start with Tuesday night, 82nd minute substitute for your first appearance of the season. 105 seconds later, you're wheeling away in front of the covered end. How does that feel?
Yeah, no, it was really good feeling. I've been out for 2 months, so I haven't played the season, so to come back and have a instant impact, it was really good. And see all the fans were buzzing, and it was an important goal for the tide of the game. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah, definitely delighted.
And you touched on it there, when you came out to warm up, you got a really warm reception from the fans. That must have been brilliant for you.
Yeah, definitely. I was on the side and, just doing my little bits before I come for the game, and it just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, home. I like to think I got home at Charlton. So, definitely good, and looking forward to going again.
So let's rewind back to July when you picked up the injury, and it was obviously in the penultimate pre-season friendly, so the timing of that must have been frustrating for you.
Yeah, definitely. Done most of pre-season, and you're building up to get into the season, and I injured my calf, but I'm really just trying to put that behind me now, and look forward. And I've had injuries before, it's part of the game, so you put your head down, you work hard, and you get back to playing.
And being on the sidelines must have been difficult for you, but also for the fans, because we know what a proven goal scorer you are at this level. So how tough has it been for you mentally, being out?
Yeah, definitely. Any player knows, you're watching our boys go out, day in, day out, and you're just in the gym doing exercise and stuff like that. So it's not ideal, but like I said, unfortunately, you've been in that situation many times. So you just get on with your work and come back and start playing.
And since the start of 2020-21 season, no player in the 92 has scored more goals from the bench than you with 15. Is it fair to say you relish that super sub tag?
Yeah, it's something that I guess works. If it's not broke, why not why fix it? So yeah, man, I can play off the bench. I've played loads of games. I've started as well. So, but for now it's working. So I don't see why change it.
And it's a great weapon for Ben Garner have to bring you on the bench or from the start. What has he said to you about what he wants from you now you're back fit and firing?
Yeah, I guess, what I did the other day, I was happy, with my performance, so I guess just more of the same, really. That's kind of what I expect from myself, because like I said, I've been doing it quite proficiently, so yeah, I can affect games at this level, so, I just want to continue doing that.
And you've obviously been back in full training for a week or so now, and you had pre-season. What have you made of life under the new gaffer?
Yeah, obviously, you know, he wants to play. You know, he's got the boys playing a certain style of football, and you know, like I say, in previous interview, you know, it's working. You know, the boys are playing good football. You know, controlling games and stuff. So it's just about turning those draws into wins, and you know, that's what we're aiming to do from now on.
And a lot of new signings in the summer to add to what we already had. Here at the training ground, seems like there's really good team spirit here. You must be really pleased with that.
Yeah, definitely. The boys really get on well together, you know, so that always, you know, helps, and it's a, you know, it's a massive plus for us, you know. So yeah, you know, we're in a good place. I think we're in a good place. So, you know, if we can just, you know, try and change some of those draws into wins, and you know, we do really well.
And you touched on it there, turning those draws into wins. Portsmouth to come on Monday at the Valley under the lights. You must all be really looking forward to that one. It's a big game, isn't it? And they've started really well this season.
Yeah, they all are big games, but you know, you've got to be confident in yourselves. And I say we've been, you know, dominating the possession of most games we've been in. So I don't see why we can't do the same, and you know, and get a victory again. So.
Softly spoken, but he's a menace when he's on the pitch, isn't he? I mean, what took him under 2 minutes to get in the score sheet coming off the bench after being out pretty much all season. How important can he be for us if we can just keep him fit?
That's the point, isn't it? I mean, it's all right us saying, oh, he's injured again, but can you imagine being him? It isn't what he wants to be, is it? You know, and it must be so frustrating. Well, for everybody, for him, the manager, the team, the fans, all of us. And big decision tonight. So, you know, what do? Do you give him a game because Miles is out, or do you keep him on the bench because you're concerned about his fitness levels?
Would you agree with the decision that's made tonight?
Yeah. Just the only question is, who's going to go up? How are we lined up? You know, is it Stockley up there on his own again, which we know has been a bit of a problem, or is Charlie Kirk going to go in there just behind him, or is Corey Blackett going to play as a striker? We'll soon find out.
What would you do?
Me personally, I think I would have Kirk. I would have Kirk in behind Stockley and smother that midfield to start with, not allow Portsmouth to get going. That's what, you know, that's what I don't. Linvoy was talking, because he's seen them a couple of times. Once they get going and they're on top of their game, it's very, very difficult to stop them.
Yeah.
Let's have a reminder of tonight's teams, both sides, shall we? Just the one change with Miles being injured for us. Corey Blackett-Taylor comes in. It'll be interesting to see, as Curb says, who plays alongside Jayden, if it is a 4-4-2, because that's how it's been working well for us. In terms of Portsmouth, Linvoy, no win in 3, but they have played, Plymouth and Ipswich as well in that time. 1-1 draw against Fleetwood the last game, unchanged. How do you see them right now?
I see them, you know, he's comfortable with his team. You know, that's the thing. He won't make many changes if they're not needed. But I think Marlon Pack coming back this season has been a real. He shores things up. He's so steady, and he's very calculated with his passing as well. So if the ball ticks through him, if he's allowed time to play today, he'll be a good threat.
Curbs, you mentioned to me just off air, the biggest bust-up you ever had was against Portsmouth, is that right?
It was losing 1-0 at half-time. I've got two memories, obviously the 30 years coming back.
Yeah.
But the other memories, it was losing 1-0 at half-time, and I completely lost it. Went round the team looking for everyone who I wanted to give it to, and I was looking for a certain player, and he wasn't there. And where is he? And he was in the treatment table. He'd done his knee.
Who was he? If you can tell us.
Jerome Thomas. I had to apologise in the end.
Yeah, but you know what? Him having a go at them beat us. We ended up losing 2-1. Yeah.
We won the game.
So it worked.
It worked.
But I was having a go at Jerome about limping around for 5 minutes, and he'd done his knee. He was out for a couple of months after. But he paid me back. When I brought West Ham here, he scored one of the bloody goals. And we got well beat.
Penny for Ben's thoughts right now.
I think, you know what, he'd be looking around. I think he'd be disappointed with the crowd, you know, because this is a big game normally. If this was Saturday and we didn't have the trouble what we got at the tunnels and etc., this would be not virtually full, but there'd be 20-odd thousand here, I would have thought. It's so, especially after the last result, it's so disappointing. But the Portsmouth fans are here. the boys are at the covered end, so there is a bit of an atmosphere.
Well, this is as busy an away end as we'll have all season, isn't it? And it's actually been a game, atmospheric-wise, that we've been looking forward to for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's conspired against us. Monday night, live game on Sky, and the trouble on the motorways, 2 tunnels are really bad at the moment, so it's probably put a lot of people off.
How do you see it then, Linvoy?
Well, I said before the game, before it kicked off, that it'd be I fancy a Pompey win 2-1. I think there'll be goals. I definitely think there'll be goals, but it all depends. If Charlton can start and just nullify Pompey in the first 15-20 minutes, it'll be a game where Charlton will feel comfortable. But if they can't stop that, I think that's when it'll be a problem for the 90.
Yeah.
It's amazing how things change. Before the Exeter game, everything was doom and gloom. After the Exeter game, suddenly you're looking up. Wouldn't it be good from a Charlton point of view to get back-to-back victories? But Portsmouth, we know, are one of those sides who are going to be right up there come the end of the season. OK, let's get to our commentary team, shall we? Terry Smith, Greg Stubley and Stevie Brown.
Thank you, Scott. Hey, Curbs. Great to see Linvoy Primus back at the Valley. And welcome to the Valley for this League One fixture.